Hi, and welcome to another episode of Rowing on the Square. And I'm coming to you from the boat graveyard. So, like many boathouses, sometimes there's boats that don't end up finding a home when they've lost their ability to be used and they end up sitting outside. I don't know how many years this boat sat outside, and it's one of my favorites, a Dorigo, because I rode many a Dorigo at University of Buffalo. So go UB, go Bulls. Um, so as I think about, recycle, reuse, you can tell that someone's taken the seats out of the boat. Doesn't look like they took the shoes. They left some of the hardware. So a lot of times when boats can't be used, they'll be pillaged for parts. You just never know when you might need something that was from another boat, whether it be a slide. So there's some slides in here too. So a lot of times that hardware is placed in the boathouse, put up in the rafters, and then after however many years, it's junked too. So it's one of those things. Like it's kind of interesting. I saw a post. Someone had posted this picture of the boat cut up, and somebody wrote back, "I rode in that boat." Another person wrote back, "I rode states in that boat and won." And just thinking about all the memories that this boat had, and that's you know kind of sad that it ends up in cut into pieces and thrown in the garbage. But um, you know, as we start thinking about like making sure that we're not being wasteful and those types of things, like my boat is a 1981 Pienert, and it's fun to row. It's nice. It's not gonna be the fastest boat out there, but it does the job. It'll get you out there on the water. So don't hesitate to look at something a little bit older when you're out there looking for a boat. You could save it from the misfortune of ending up in the dumpster. Uh, I always think about my double, and we call my double the dumpster double. And that's because I know I've told this story before, but I drove to Boston for a biomechanics conference, and they were getting rid of boats. And they said, well, if you come back in the spring when the snow melts, you can get the one boat that's sitting in the drainage ditch. It's a double. You can have it. And I was just excited that there'd be the possibility that I'd be able to get this boat. And the reason it was sitting in the drainage ditch is because someone dropped it on the dock and it split right at the steering mechanism. Um, it's a great boat. I think it's a 2014 Wintec Club Racer. And I spent some time fixing the boat in my garage, and let me let you know, double does not fit in a standard garage, even diagonal. So it was kind of a challenge to repair the boat at my house. That's why you pay those rack fees. So make sure you're paying your rack fees to your boathouse if you have a boat at the boathouse, because it's really, you can't keep a boat anywhere else. Like, you can't keep it at your house. A single, on the other hand, you guys have seen the pictures of my single in the ceiling at my boat at my house. But actually, I have it racked at the boathouse now, so that I can go out and row it more often. So um, that boat was sitting in a drainage ditch, and it was destined to be put away and cut up into pieces and put in the dumpster just like this. So it had more life. And check out Row 2K. Make sure that you're staying on there. If you're looking for a boat, there might be something that you can rescue, and talk to boat houses. Sometimes they're just, there's a boat on the rack that they're just not using, and it would be better to see it go to use and people using it than cut up and thrown away to make rack room for something new. Just something that I think about when I was executive director at the boathouse. There was a boat that was damaged and totaled, and these damaged and totaled boats, I never knew what happened to them. So the insurance companies then auction them off when they're totaled like that. And one of our local clubs purchased the boat and repaired it. It was worth the time and effort for them to get that boat, even though it was quote unquote totaled. Um, it was able to be repaired, and people are using it now to row. So there's always that option too. So if you're looking for a boat, those are my go-to's. I would check out the insurance companies auction sites for where people where they get insurance for their boats, and then also check out Row 2K in the classifieds. You can get a lot of different information on there. There's also groups on Facebook that have rowing equipment and they're selling or buying. So that's another place to do that too. So I thought I would just kind of take a moment by the dumpster and wish this boat goodbye. And it did a good job. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who happily rode it. And now it's off to the garbage pile, which is kind of sad. But we'll keep it moving. Have a great rest of the day and take care. And I hope it kind of opened your eyes to what happens to boats when they leave the boat graveyard. The boat graveyard is like the grassy knoll outside of your boathouse. Once it goes to the graveyard and doesn't make it there and doesn't get picked up by somebody, it goes to the dumpster. So, take care, everybody, and happy rowing. Hope you're enjoying your summer too.
For this next part of the podcast, I bring you out on the Genesee River with me in my 1981 Pienert soft top with wooden gunnels that I repaired. And we take a little row back and forth, making blades versus the concept to smoothie. And I have a bit of an epiphany while I'm out there. And then afterwards, I chat about getting in and out of the boat and some key things that I think are important to remember when you're trying to decide how you're going to get in and out of your rowing shell. Hope you enjoy.
I'm going to trade out the Makins. I usually use the Makins. Whoa! Dock is slippery. I usually use the Makins when I rode this boat, but I haven't tried them with regular oars, so we'll see. Not regular oars, but younger oars. So we'll give this a whirl. And this one's going to be a pain in the butt because it's so far out. All right, we got one in. Go get the other one. Okay, so we're gonna do a little trial here of the Makins versus the Smoothie 2s, the Vortec Edge. So we'll see what we think. I am grumbling. It's not the end of the day, but I lifted today. Feeling a little tired. So let's see how this is. We got the Rivery going by in the background. Feel a little bit awake. Nothing to worry about. All right. Let's see. The overlap looks okay. Hop into the boat. Let's see. First time I shoved off earlier, didn't do a good job. Gotta get my butt in the right spot. And she's creaky. Can you hear her? She's a little bit creaky. Okay. All right. There may be some points here that you can't see me, so I'll just loop the video so you can continue to see me. But then again, maybe not. Maybe you can just have a view of the water while I chat with you a little bit. So we're going to shove into, ready? 1, 2. Oh, that's a much better shove than the one I originally did. Woohoo! All right. Of course, here comes the wake, right? Voila. All right. Let's get away from the dock here. Let's shove a little bit more. The wake is bringing me in. Oh. Well, let's back it. Let's just back it this way. And we'll row it that way. There we go. Alrighty. Now that I've totally got the wrong point. You know what? Ooh, I like these better. These are way better. Okay. The Makins are a little, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what the difference is. Let me just organize my butt a little. I feel like I'm already going faster. Maybe it's because I know how to row these oars. If you can believe it, I learned on Makins. So I should be able to row them, but they feel weird. This feels good. So I haven't rode her all that much since I repaired her, but she's fun. Lots of balance. I feel like I could just like sit here and just like blades off the water and glide her without really a lot of work. So that's fun. That she's fairly balanced on her own. So I don't have to make it happen. You know what? I don't know. I'm enthusiastic after you because I was using those Makins and I was like, I don't know how well this is gonna work. But yeah, so much fun. So last summer I repaired it, and that took time. You know, I learned a lot. Did a little bit more fiberglass repair. If you followed along with me, too much pork. But she's fun. She's a nice gal. Hear that? Checking her. Yeah, so this has been fun. I don't think I could row her on the square. You could try. Try for a couple seconds. Let's at least get her moving. So I'd have better luck at doing it. Yeah, I just don't have enough room. Not enough room. Not enough handle room there. But I'll have to practice that. Because I have to get those handles down low to have her on the square. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, this has been fun. Alright, I'm pulling up. Oopsies. That doesn't sound tight. Alright, so we'll have to look at that because that bolt is going up and down. That is no good. Why is that doing that? Alright, well, I've got some repairs to make. Preferably tightening up that rigger there. Alright, getting out of the boat, it's a challenge. It's not the easiest thing to do. Sorry, I'm touching the microphone. What getting out of the boat requires is that you need to be able to get into a deep squat. Not everybody can do a deep squat. Some people have ankle range of motion issues. It also takes a little bit of strength to get out of the boat. There's the option of doing, because the boat, like a single, is you could scoot transfer out, which I can show you. I don't always do this, so let's see if I can do it without ending up in the water. There you go. So that takes a little bit of effort to do. I don't always do it that way because I feel more stable standing up and doing it, but you could scoot transfer in too, and that would be something like that. That also takes a little bit of strength, and my boat does not sound like it like that at all. My preferred way of getting out in and out is to be able to get into that deep squat. So I'm going to move her forward just a touch and get myself into this deep squat as my boat's going away from the dock. So you can see how you can balance in this position on the boat and then step out. So those are all different ways you can kind of think about it. It's just making sure that you get in and out without ending up in the water. And if you end up in the water, make sure that's a nice sunny day. All right. I think I'm going to put the boat away. It's been nice chatting. Bye.